So welcome back. The downside of filming your own show is sometimes your camera just randomly deletes things and shuts down. So I'm gonna catch you up on what I did while we had a little bit of a malfunction. I took our icing and I added food coloring. That's all I did. So don't panic. I prefer to use a gel food coloring. I just buy this at my local store. It's very concentrated, so you're just gonna wanna use like a toothpick, maybe the end of a butter knife to add the color. It's also going to intensify over time. So if you feel like you are close to the color, stop. I used a golden yellow to create our Big Bird icing. My hands. So the beauty of this recipe, as I was saying before, I hope it didn't get deleted, but I'll repeat it just in case.
And if it's in there, I'll cut it.
If it's in there, we'll cut it. Wrap your cake up, make it the day before, wrap your cake up tight, put it in the fridge. The day before, do your icing, keep it cold in the fridge, bring it to room temperature, and just whir it with the paddle until it is smooth again. And that's exactly what I did when we had the little hiccup. So this has been in the fridge overnight. This has been in the fridge overnight. I've got it to room temperature, paddled it smooth, and now we're gonna ice our cake. So as we recall, I'm gonna need gloves. I'm just gonna need gloves. It's messy. I just don't like my hands gooey. Like bread dough is fine because it's not gooey. Flour is fine because it's not gluey, but icing. I just need gloves. So we're gonna scrape off as much icing as possible. Got that off. And now if you've watched the red velvet cake episode, I go over the basics of icing. So I'm gonna go a little fast through this. I'm gonna let you know where you can stop, take a break, and just make your icing look a little professional. So I'm gonna put this in the sink. We're gonna unwrap our cake. So I'm gonna, So because this is an incredibly moist cake, I wrapped it with parchment before plastic wrap. You are gonna lose a little bit of the cake just because it is so moist. So see, you've got a little bit that's gonna stick on your parchment, that's okay. But I like to put it in parchment because the parchment is non-stick, so we lose as little as possible. So this has been baked, it's been cooled. Look at how moist that still is. This cake is amazing for that. What I have on this turntable is a 12-inch cake round. You can buy these at a craft supply store, cake supply store, doesn't matter. Take a little offset spatula, take a little bit of that icing, not very much, just gonna do a little smear. And that's gonna help this cake to stay on this cardboard so that we don't have to touch the cake every time we wanna move the cake around. So this cake bakes pretty flat, but you wanna pick the flat side. Put it right in the middle. Nice. If you recall, when we made the parchment rounds, we saved our parchment. This is gonna help us with icing. This is what it's gonna look like. You are gonna cut these little tail ends off, give you a mildly rectangle piece of parchment. And I go in this in more detail on the red velvet cake episode, so please, if you have any questions, you're confused at all, feel free to watch that video. I go into more detail. Today I'm just like, let's ice a cake. I need some champagne. I'm exhausted. The camera broke. My husband is amazing.
But he doesn't handle pressure.
But he doesn't handle pressure very well. Mr. Marie can get a little stressed. I'm cool with it, it's fine. One, really quick gushing moment. Mr. Marie and I are the type of people that get stressed about different things at different times. If there's something that he's totally stressing out about, I'm like, that's not a big deal, that's fine. And then sometimes I'll be stressing out and he's like, why are you stressing? Like we somehow balance each other.
Like, comment, subscribe if you're weird like that too.
Yeah. So all I'm doing is putting these rectangles of parchment, I'm just lifting up the cake, popping it right inside. What that does is that's gonna cover our cake round so we can ice with abandon. We can be messy and we'll just pull these out at the end and it'll be chef's kiss. Let's pipe. We've got our cake base down and what I'm gonna do is pipe a border and I'm gonna add strawberries in the middle of this moist chocolate cake. Just ramp it up a little bit. I'll have the recipe for the strawberries on the website. It's super easy. You're just macerating them, cooking them down a little bit. It's a pure strawberry flavor. There's nothing weird and it's easy to do. If you can bake this cake, you can make the strawberry filling. I promise you. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a piping bag inside a quart container. You can use any container, just make sure it's the same around at the bottom that it is on the top. Fill this with icing. We don't have a tip on it. We're doing this as easy as possible because we don't want to stress. I am just gonna cut off the tip, doesn't matter how much, but keep an eye on that tip so it doesn't go in your cake. Push your icing all the way down. This is where I like having a turntable because you just start piping and it moves itself. And as you can see, I'm not doing any skilled piping. All I'm doing is creating a barrier so that the strawberry filling stays in. That's all I'm doing. Doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be exact. See, that fell over, who cares? I don't care. We've created our little barrier of icing. Now we're gonna take our strawberry filling. And again, the recipe will be on the blog. It's slightly thickened, but as you can see, it's still a little runny, which is why we've created a barrier to keep all the strawberries inside. So now we've got moist chocolate cake. We have delicious strawberry filling. We've got champagne flavored icing, and I can't think of anything that's more New Year's Eve or worthy of my brother's birthday, to be honest. We are going to take the second layer of the cake, which I wrapped the same way in parchment. And here's a little secret for you guys. I'm telling you, bake the cake the day before. I baked this cake probably 5 days ago, and do you see how moist it still is? If you let it come to room temperature, you wrap it up really tightly, you can put it in the freezer, you can put it in the fridge, it'll stay. It is very moist cake. It's literally coming apart in my hands, that's how moist it is. So we're just gonna put that as neatly as we can on top. I don't know if you can see that the cake is kind of leaning this way, so I'm just going to boop, pop it right over. Level it out as much as I can. Now we're gonna do the crumb coat. We're gonna do a very thin layer of icing all over this cake. We're gonna put it in the fridge for maybe like 20 minutes. Just let that butter and the icing harden up. It's just one extra step that we do professionally to make it look neater and you don't have little chocolate crumbs all through your beautiful yellow icing that you've worked so hard to make. So we've got this icing bag full of icing.
Full of pina colada.
We don't want to waste this, so we're going to start our crumb coat with this till it runs out. Just get this icing on this cake. See how the cake is coming into the icing? We don't want that on our final product. If you can see the cake through it, it's not a big deal. You basically just want to cover up those holes. One of the tricks I've learned is when you're making your crumb coat, because you are gonna get crumbs in your crumb coat, don't dip this back into your icing. Have a container that you can set aside to scrape your implement, and then you can reuse that for your crumb coat. That way you're not contaminating your full batch of icing with little crumbs. That's exactly what we're trying not to do.
What are you, a genius?
Right? Fill those holes. We're gonna make this as smooth as possible now to make our job much easier later. I'm just putting a little bit of icing on top. We're just filling in the holes, sealing those crumbs in, our nice moist cake. I'm gonna take a bench scraper. If you don't have a bench scraper, you can buy these online, they're not very expensive. But what you're looking for is a straight edge. And you're just going to hold it against the cake, spin your turntable. I'm not putting any pressure, I'm just giving it a straight edge. So see all that's coming off? That's just leveling off the side of the cake. We're gonna do the same for the top. Again, no pressure, we're just gonna put it against it. And it's very easy to miss that very top rim. So before we chill this, I wanna make sure that any crumbs that are gonna come off are stuck to the cake, just for a nicer finish. I'm gonna go back in with my bench scraper, and like I said, just a straight edge. I've used a butter knife, I've used spatulas. You don't have to do anything special. And that is how you do a crumb coat. So we're gonna chill this until it's firm, then we're gonna continue icing it. So I'll see you guys in 20 minutes. Oh God, do I even have room in here? So we've let our crumb coat cool for 20 minutes. Basically what you're looking for is the butter and the icing to firm up so there's nothing, it's not sticky. Now we're just gonna ice the cake. From here on out, easy peasy. I like to start at the top. Some people start at the sides, whatever works for you. We're just gonna make a cake. So we're not looking for anything specific right now. We are just covering with icing. So as you can see, all I'm doing is just do, because we're gonna level it out later. You don't have to stress about it. Anywhere you see the crumb coat, anywhere you see cake, cover it with icing. Cover up your cake, it's indecent. So you're gonna take your straight edge and we're gonna do the same thing we did before. We're just gonna scrape along and smooth out the edge. We're not adding a lot of pressure, we're just straightening. You see these holes that were created when we did the buttercream? You're gonna fill those up. And then the next time we go through, that'll create the smooth surface. Now we're gonna scrape again. I just go perpendicular as tight as I can, no pressure. It just scrapes away with the excess. Taking the crumb coat off of my small offset spatula, and I'm taking the icing that we built up over here and I'm just pushing it in. So we're just pushing in that excess icing. I'm just smoothing out those edges. We just bring this puppy back. Scrapes off the excess for us. Now I'm just gonna build up that middle to level it off and give us a nice top of the cake. So we haven't done anything so far that you can't do. This is all just having the knowledge. It's not something that is difficult. It's not something that is taxing. It's just, if you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So I'm gonna come again, do the sides, no pressure, just scraping. Now we're gonna do the same to the top. I'm gonna put it down like this and spin the turntable. And all that's doing is leveling it off, just like we did the sides. Now, because this is real life, some of the crumb coat came through. Gone. Done. All right, so I'm gonna call this cake done. I'm gonna add a few more decorative elements to it, but first I'm gonna do my swirl on top. Take your offset, put it in the middle. It's just like working with a spirograph. One more time, make it a little prettier. Super fast, super easy way just to add a little decorative, beautifulness to the cake. Now, I'm putting on gloves because I found online these amazing gold sprinkles. These are edible. They don't look edible, but they are. And we're just gonna there's no rhyme or reason, but do it while the icing is wet. And it just kind of gives it a little bit of a festive kick. Just little embellishments. Nothing new, nothing difficult. Buy pretty sprinkles, put pretty sprinkles on your cake. And your friends are gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. And you're just like, yeah, I did it, what? I am leaving this spot open very purposefully. I'll show you why. You can add sprinkles all the way around. You can add sprinkles all the way on the top. But I feel like this is a really good place for me. So see how much that elevated it? All we did was just add sprinkles all around. Now we're fancy. But to make it truly complete, we need to take some icing off of here. So my mom made my little brother a chocolate cake shaped like Big Bird, took the time to pipe the eyes, took the time to pipe all the feathers, put it in the refrigerator for the next day for the party. And when she goes to pull the cake out, my little brother had gone in and done 3 little stripes and just taken it right out of the icing and eaten it. And so all of the pictures of the birthday cake have these little fingerprints of missing icing. So that's why I wanted no sprinkles here, because to finish the homage, we've got to dig in icing. Yeah. What I'm gonna do now is pop this back in the fridge, let everything firm up so we can remove the parchment. And then I'm just gonna clean everything up before we do a taste. And we'll meet back in 20 minutes. Ooh, she's a heavy girl. And here she is. The last thing we need to do is take the parchment out from underneath where we kept the cardboard clean. So this one's on the very top because we can access both sides. You're gonna use your offset spatula. See right there where it wants to stick? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Ta-da! We do the exact same thing. And there'll always be a point where everything just suddenly comes loose and you know you can pull it. So yeah, as long as you're looking for whatever piece of parchment is on the very top, and that's the one you're grabbing, you'll be good. Use your offset spatula to keep the icing together. And we have a beautiful New Year's Eve cake or birthday cake. We are going to have the pièce de résistance because it is a party, y'all. And you can't have a party without candles. What do you think? We've got height, we've got gold, we've got drama, we've got circles, we've got swirls, we've got family ties. We have a perfect cake. I'm not gonna even try to have this cake without a little champagne, sparkling wine on my budget. So let's set the cake aside really quickly and I'm gonna show you my favorite New Year's Eve cocktail. Mr. Marie, I will need your help for this.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
If you can get me the ice from the freezer, please. 10 steps ahead of you, as always. I did forget a knife.
Ice cubes, my lady.
Thank you. I don't know where I put my cute tongs. Oh well, no cute tongs. Thank you.
10 steps ahead of you.
What? So this is a French 75, my favorite cocktail. If I'm out to eat, this is the cocktail that I get. You're gonna start with a cocktail shaker, of course. We're gonna fill some ice in here. Oh yeah, that's a good one. To that, you are going to add, I'm making 2, so it'll be 2 ounces of gin, because I'm making one for Mr. Marie.
Yay.
You're gonna do 2 ounces of gin, whatever your favorite gin is. Then you are going to do 1 ounce of simple syrup. If you don't have simple syrup, you can make it. It's a cup of water, cup of sugar, boil it till it's clear, you've made simple syrup. Pop that in there, and we're gonna do the juice of half a lemon. Now we're gonna put the cocktail shaker lid on and shake it just enough to get it cold. If I can get your help again, Mr. Marie.
Yes, my dear.
I need the champagne from the fridge.
All right. Don't you mean sparkling wine?
I do mean sparkling wine. We ain't got that kind of budget.
Maybe if you got 10,000 subscribers.
Uh-huh. Like, subscribe, save so I can get champagne. You can pop it if you want, but it's safer to just grab it with your hand and twist. So now we are going to take our cocktail, pour it in roughly 2 servings. Top it off with some sparkling wine. This is a really great drink if you're having friends over, because you can triple that base that's got the gin and the simple syrup, the lemon, triple, quadruple it, and then just pour it in the glasses as you serve it. Top it with a little champagne. Super easy, super fast, great for crowds. Traditional garnish is a lemon peel, but I'm not doing garnishes today because I have a freaking cake I want to eat, and I want to drink this champagne because it has been a long 2 days. All right, so let's have a party. What if like none of these lit?
Oh, they'll be lit. Because this party's lit.
Okay. Let's make a wish and blow out the candles for a new year.
Yay!
Yay!
Shout out to asthma.
Shout out to my inhaler. I'm gonna show you how to cut this cake. It's gonna be super simple. This is just a little professional tip. So you got your knife. We're gonna stick it in some warm water. Wipe that off and just go right in. It's gonna cut through that cake for you. Then you're gonna pull it straight out. Repeat the same process. This is what's gonna get you a clean cut of cake. Pick your size, straight down, then directly out. Look at that. See how we've got that nice moist cake? We've got that delicious strawberry filling, and we've got the nice firm Swiss buttercream with the sparkling wine flavor in it. This is absolutely a celebration cake. Now in my family, whoever's birthday it is gets to lick the icing off the candles. That's for you, Evan. And I'm gonna flip this on the side because I don't know that I can get that big of a bite in my mouth.
That's what she said.
Hey-o! So I'm gonna get a bite with the filling, with the cake, and that special champagne buttercream. I already know this is gonna be good. I might pass out. This cake is so moist. And the strawberries and champagne is just so special. And you add in chocolate. It's like a chocolate covered strawberry while you're eating champagne, drinking champagne. Whatever you're doing with the champagne. This is so good. I'm talking my mouth full. I'm so excited. If you learn to make one cake in your lifetime, this is the cake. You are gonna wow people every single time. Change out the color, change out the flavor of the Swiss meringue, change out the fruit that's in the middle. Make it your own, but make this cake. And of course, my French 75. First of all, my favorite cocktail, period. But the lemon juice in this cuts through all the fat of that, and the botanic bit of the gin matches with the berries. Like this is peak Elisa food. Oh yeah, oh yeah. This is the rest of my night. So good, it's so good. Mr. Marie, would you like to toast the new year with me?
Why, yes, I would.
And then I'll let you have a little cake.
Don't you always?
Yeah, sometimes.
Happy New Year, baby. I love you.
I love you too. Thank you guys so much for watching season 2 and watching season 1 and watching Buddy Bakes and watching Tips and Tricks. Please share it with all your friends and family. We want to make season 3. We're already in the works for it. Subscribe, like, save. I cannot thank you guys enough for coming on this journey with me. If you make any recipes from any of my seasons, please tag me. I want to share you. You're the whole reason that we do this. And you're the whole reason we did it again. So happy New Year. Have a wonderful 2025. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye. Bye.